Hoje nós vamos ter uma entrevista com uma amiga americana que foi intercambista no Brasil. Olá,
Como estás?
tudo bem?
Tudo bom?
Bom, vamos lá, deixa eu fazer as apresentações para vocês. Essa entrevista ela vai ser um pouco mista, vai ser tanto em português quanto em inglês. Algumas partes a gente vai falar em português, outras a gente vai falar em inglês e a gente vai responder perguntas de vocês. Oi, Juan, tudo bem? Fica aí que vai ser muito interessante. Bom, pessoal, eu quero explicar para vocês. A Cori, ela foi intercambista no Brasil em 2012, 2013. Hoje ela mora em Phoenix, no Arizona. Ela é professora de ciências para adolescentes de 12, 13 anos. É isso, Cori?
13 e 14.
13 e 14, né? Ah, Então, ela veio para o Brasil nessa data que eu falei para vocês, em 2012, foi um grande intercâmbio. E, Cori, conta para a gente como que nós nos conhecemos. Conta para eles como que você me conheceu, como que a gente se conheceu, como é que foi isso?
Você era meu professor de português, porque quando ah, um, I forget how to say arrive.
Quando eu cheguei.
Ok, nossa. Quando eu cheguei em Palmital, eu não sabia falar português.
E daí nós tínhamos aulas semanais, né? E você começou aí nas aulas, a gente criou uma amizade que passou do intercâmbio, a gente, Thalita, eu e Cori ficamos muito amigos, né? Essa amizade ultrapassou, depois no outro ano eu viajei, a gente se encontrou na cidade em que eu viajei, eu conheci a mãe dela, a tia dela, e hoje eu queria contar para vocês o quanto é importante. Quero que ela conte para vocês o quanto o intercâmbio foi importante para ela e como que tudo se transformou tão bacana na vida dela, entendeu? Cori, conta pra gente como é que foi isso. O que mudou do intercâmbio para cá?
Um, Muito. Um, Era minha primeira vez fora dos Estados Unidos. Então, eu era sozinha. Ah, não sei. Ah,
Quando você chegou, tinham mais intercambistas com você aqui, né? Tinham mais pessoas, tinha uma italiana, se eu não me engano, a Lucrécia, e daí vocês começaram a criar amizade com outros intercambistas da cidade também. Mas o que eu acho interessante é que você perseguiu, eu acho interessante que o intercâmbio te libertou muito. E eu queria que você dissesse para todo mundo qual é a importância de aprender português, mesmo no sentido contrário que os alunos fazem, porque eu falo sobre inglês, da importância de saber inglês, e você fez o processo contrário. Uma americana, uma pergunta para você. Como americana, você sentiu dificuldade de falar português porque todo mundo que queria falar, que chegava perto de você, queria só falar inglês com você? E você tinha mais dificuldade de aprender português por isso?
um, sim, era um pouco difícil porque muitas pessoas queriam um, aprender inglês com eu, porque um,
Uhum.
era porque eu falo inglês. Um, mas não sei, 6 meses. Depois de 6 meses em Brasil, eu aprendi a falar português, mais ou menos.
Uhum.
Fica conversando. Uh,
Aham.
esse ponto, point,
E você ainda pratica português hoje?
sim, com você.
Que bom, a gente faz uma troca, né? Um bem bolado, como se diz. Mas eu acho que é muito interessante a tua história. E o que te fez decidir ser professora? Por que que você escolheu essa carreira? Por que você decidiu ser professora nos Estados Unidos? Era um sonho? É uma... É uma... O que que você acha disso?
Um, eu,
Você tinha o dom? Did you have the gift to to be a teacher? What did you think?
can I say it in English? Because
Of
I'm
course, we
not
can change.
100%
We can,
sure how
yeah,
to explain in Portuguese.
yeah. You can say in English.
I
No problem.
yeah, I guess I always wanted to be a teacher. I just kind of knew. I really liked working with kids,
Mhm.
and yeah, so I just decided to do that. And then
Yeah,
I saw,
and now, and we can say now that you are a married woman, you have found your better half,
yeah, I
and
guess.
you're happy and happier than ever. And how is this way of life for you now? Everything has changed. What do you think?
Um, I mean, not really. It's just like more of a legal commitment, but yeah, I mean, it's taking our relationship to a new like level. So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And how is it teaching students in the United States for you? Because you had a chance to see how students were in Brazil, and how was it for you? How is it for you to teach in the United States? What
uh,
is the difference of being a student in Brazil and a student and a teacher in the United States?
um, it's definitely different. Um, when I was in Brazil, there were 40 kids in my class, which
Mm-hmm.
was like a lot. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and the teacher changed classes.
Yeah.
Here in the US, the
Mm-hmm.
students change classes. So I get
Mm-hmm.
my own classroom. Um, and then kids have a schedule and they go from class to class.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Because as far as you are telling, it's different in Brazil. Because in Brazil, when you finish your period with a teacher, the teacher leaves the room, and in the United States, it doesn't happen. The student has to go to the teacher's classroom. So, did you think that Brazilian students were louder, were funny? How do you how do you remember that part of your life? Do you remember it fondly? It was a little bit stressing. How do you feel?
um, it was a lot of emotions.
Mm-hmm.
It was hard at first because I didn't understand Portuguese, and even though I'd already studied a lot of the content,
Mm-hmm.
um, it was a little bit harder in a second language that I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's definitely different. I think students are different, just expectations are different
Mm-hmm.
than the US.
Yes. And let me ask you one thing. When you met me, you saw me teaching. What draw your attention in my teaching? How do you think about me as a Brazilian Portuguese speaker teaching English? What can you say about that?
You're probably one of the best English speakers I've met in Brazil, and I've met a lot of people. So, I
Thank
mean,
you very much.
you could probably pass as a native in the United States if you wanted to. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't know. I think you're just real to people and you don't give any nonsense. And you know, you're very supportive because it's something that you're really passionate about and you're committed. So,
Thank you for your kind words. But the good thing is because Cori spent a lot of time in our school, my wife and my school, together with us. We spent a lot of time. We talked a lot, and she could see that I taught English with much passion, and she still is my coach today because I don't give up with English. So we practice half an hour of Portuguese and half an hour of English every Saturday. Today's an exception because I'm interviewing her. And but one thing that I never forget, Cori, about myself is that I'm a Brazilian who speaks English. So what do you think when an exchange person that you meet or a person that's a foreigner makes mistakes in English when they're trying to speak English with you? Do you think it's important? Do you think they should make mistakes so they learn? What's your opinion about that? About making mistakes in
yeah,
English.
it's a it's definitely okay to make mistakes. You're not gonna learn if you don't make mistakes. So, um, people who are willing to put themselves out there and practice as much as they can and be willing to take, you know, criticism, you know, constructive criticism, they'll probably end up being way better off than people who are too afraid of making mistakes to speak.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's just a thing for learning in general, not just languages, but I think it's most important for languages.
Mm-hmm. This is amazing. That's very well put. Let me just answer a question in chat. Now, Zobeida, I can't let Ibrahim come because I am on my phone. To accept him, I don't know how to do. I would have to leave the live stream. So if you can give him the link or something like that, it would be amazing, you know, because I will accept him after the live stream and I'll put this live stream with Cori on my YouTube channel. But now I can interrupt and do the accept his request because then we would have to stop the live stream, okay? But the next one, I will accept him, all right? If you can find a way for him to watch, it would be best. Thank you. Um, so let's get back on track now. Zobeida, for example, she's from Iran, and she does a great job with her uh, Instagram about English. And what do you think, Cori, about international English that we always talked about? There's American English, British English, and international English. The people who have all kinds of accents and try to speak English because this is very necessary in business world and other kinds of environment of learning. Okay, can you tell us about that a little bit?
Um, yeah, I
About
mean,
the accents, I mean, about the different accents that people come talking to you. Do you think they should like study or do some accent reduction? What do you think about it?
I
To
mean,
help them.
yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, I don't mind when people have accents. I think it
Mhm.
makes English more interesting. Um,
Yeah.
but if you really want to do
Mhm.
that and like, you know, try to reduce the accent that you have and have a more like even,
Mhm.
you know, any kind of like accent at all for, you know, it doesn't matter if it's, you know, British or Australian or Irish or American. And even in America, we have different accents. So,
Yeah. I
yeah.
think we should change to switch to Portuguese a little bit again. I'm gonna ask you some questions in Portuguese so you can tell people. Um, Qual é a palavra que você acha mais bonita na língua portuguesa? Que
No.
você gosta? Pode
Yeah.
ser sorvete, brigadeiro. Ah,
Ooh, brigadeiro.
ah,
Um, não sei. Uma palavra que eu gosto, que eu gosto, não é uma palavra muito bom. É só porque eu gosto como
hmm.
how you say it.
Okay, you can
But
say
it's
it.
not, não é uma palavra bonita.
Okay, so it's better we leave it off. Let me translate to you. I asked Cori in Portuguese what was the most beautiful word that she learned in Portuguese, because Obeida, my friend, is from Iran, and we met from at that channel on YouTube on American English with this guy, and she's always here. She's a supporter. And I asked her, and she says that her only reference for Brazilian Portuguese sound is my voice, because she never listened to it before. And I asked Cori in Portuguese what was the most beautiful word that we say in Portuguese, and she said that she couldn't say it because it's a family friendly channel, so we're not saying it here. But what do you really miss about Brazil, Cori? Let me know. What do you really miss about Brazil?
Um,
Mackenzie, how are you? I miss you. Come to Brazil again. What do you really miss from Brazil?
I really miss the food.
Only the food.
I love the food. Not rice and beans though, just
Yeah.
everything. Pastel,
I need to tell everybody, because I
churras.
think people don't know that rice and beans are staple food. You know, we have it every day on the table, and uh, we eat rice, beans, and some salad. Rice, beans, and some meat. You know, so this is the staple food for Brazilians every day, and during dinners, during lunch. One thing that Cori misses is coxinha.
Yes.
Coxinha is how could we translate coxinha to English? It would be a
Um,
kind of, because it
it's like it doesn't
mm,
have like a physical translation, but it's like a little pocket of like dough that has meat in
yeah,
it. Fried.
yeah, and it's fried. She loved coxinha, and there's a big coxinha that is this size, more around by this size. And there's small coxinha that I used to call baby coxinha, and she was crazy about baby coxinha. And there was a lot of food in Brazil that she really liked. But did you like the weather in Brazil? Did you feel very that it was very warm for you as an American person? How do you feel about that?
It was at least for, I when I lived in Brazil in the area that I was in, it was pretty similar to where I was from.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but now I live in the United States in a really very hot climate, so maybe it's more similar to areas kind of north of where I was living near
And
São
it was
Paulo.
pretty similar to the weather that we would have in your host city. Yeah.
Uh,
So but let me ask you one thing. From the people in Brazil and the friends that you have made, what do you remember fondly?
um, yeah, just it was really nice to like have people who, like I still am friends with them on Facebook, and it's
Yeah.
nice to see the things that I did while I was in Brazil. And
Hmm.
I got to go see Lucrezia when I lived in Italy 5 years ago. So that
Yeah.
was,
So you had two exchange experiences. You lived in Brazil first, and then you lived in Italy for 6 months, right?
yeah.
Very nice. And what was the difference that you could tell between, how could you balance? Of course, it's Europe. We can put Brazil in that in that level. But what is the biggest difference between Brazil and Italy for you?
Um, yeah, I mean, culture overall, like Italy was very different than even where I'm from. They have pretty interesting traditions and like their culture around food is
Mm-hmm.
it can be intense sometimes. So, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they have pretty awesome food as well.
Awesome. Awesome. There are some people in chat like Zubaida from Iran and Sam from Thailand that I miss so much. I think that they should have some questions for you. Do you mind answering their questions?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, because some was an exchange student here too, and from AFS as well, the same program that you have come. Zobeida, if you have any questions for Cori, please feel free to ask them. And we are waiting. But I think that this experience, Cori speaks very good Portuguese. We keep training and polishing her Portuguese every week, or almost every week when our schedules meet. And I want you to know that she's a great and an amazing friend. And we have been in contact ever since she left Brazil, and we never lost touch. And it was it's really amazing, you know. And I think it would be great bringing her here to talk to you guys today and answer your questions. I think, Zubida, you have no questions. Let us know here if you have any questions, and you can post on your Instagram channel. Okay, and because you're not, Cori, you're not originally from Arizona. You're now living in Arizona, but where where were you originally from first? Where were you born actually?
I lived in Ohio,
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
near Lake Erie, which is
Mm-hmm.
towards the north.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, do you miss Ohio, or do you think the life in Arizona is much better, even though it's hotter? You know?
Um, yeah, I don't miss shoveling snow. We used to shovel snow like every winter, and I did not like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but here it gets very, very hot in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
It's finally starting to cool down, but
Yeah.
it's pretty harsh for about 3 or 4 months out of the year.
Mm-hmm. Zobir is saying in the comments, she's asking you, Corey. I had no idea about exchange students. Tell me about it and about yourself, because I was late.
Okay. Yeah, being an exchange student was awesome. Sorry, you're gonna get to see my cat. He
Yeah.
wants attention right now.
No worries, no worries. No, we're not seeing the cat. Now
Um,
it's not.
yeah, I thought he
Yeah.
was gonna be more in the way.
Mm-hmm.
I decided not to. Um,
Uh-huh.
being an exchange student, I think it ended up being a really important part of my life, and it added a lot of, like things that experiences that I wouldn't have had otherwise, and probably changed my global perspective overall.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think it made me a lot more of a more ambitious person, realizing, I can go on exchange for a year by myself, and I just kind of went from there. Um, yeah, I mean, and about myself, I guess. I teach eighth grade science to 12 and 13 and 14-year olds, and I love my job, and it's been stressful because of the pandemic, but um, I really enjoy what I do, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I I live in a desert, right?
No, you don't live in the desert.
I
So
do live
don't
in a
say that. You
I
live
do.
in a beautiful city. You live in a
I do.
beautiful city. Let me tell you something, Isobeda, that I told Corey. I don't know if she remembers, but I remember that very vividly. When she first arrived in Brazil, I told her, you traveled miles and miles away to have a meeting with yourself. She told me, I don't know what you mean. I said, I'm going to explain to you. You're gonna have to make your name, to make yourself known, because in the States, in a way, everybody knows who your mom is, who your brother is. And by the way, hello to brother and mom if they're there. I miss them. Um, but she would have to to grow herself and be herself among these people and show who she really was, and that's what she did really well. So she's an amazing person. She has because she was 17 when we met, so she was still a teenager, and she was very responsible. When she was finishing her exchange student program in Brazil, she was already getting ready for college, and she was dealing with the paperwork for college. It was amazing, like all her commitment. She was committed to Brazil. She was an excellent exchange student. And at the same time, she was worried about her future life. So Cori has I see Cori as a person who, she's as much perfectionist as I am. She wants everything to work perfectly. She was never late. She was always on time. So it's really, really, really amazing to have met her and to have spent a year with her. Now I know her husband, Matt, and he's a great guy as well. And I'm really happy because they are happy, and they live a happy life. So it's amazing to see how my friends evolve and how great they become. And because you travel so many miles away to meet yourself, and that's really true. Some from Thailand is there, and he can let me say another way because he went through the same thing. So it's really, really, really grateful to see how these teenagers become grown people, older people, and awesome people. So if you have any more questions, bring them on. We're here to answer them. We are almost finishing because we have to wrap it up, because I'm going to put it on YouTube with translations for everybody to see. And don't forget that my YouTube channel is Rod VIP IDP. You can find me on YouTube, and my professional Instagram is the same, with the same name. You can find me there and subscribe. And Zobeida, any more questions? No? So, Cori, I wish you could finish that elevator pitch in Portuguese, like your last minute, trying to say something in Portuguese, or what you really want the Brazilian people to know about English. And then I will wrap it up, and thank you very much for being here with us.
Okay. Então, aprendendo uma língua é muito importante nessa sociedade global, mas é quase necessário, porque a gente está muito interconectado.
Don't worry. Go ahead. Don't worry. People are joining.
Yeah.
I think that you're right, because English is the communication language. And I once told somebody that I shouldn't have learned English first, because when you speak English, you can speak anywhere. You'll always find someone who speaks English with you and who try to help you. Like, I would never thought I would have a friend from Iran who speaks English so well and has a wonderful job to work on. And one of the most important things that I've learned since being a Brazilian English teacher. For me, this is very important to say. I'm a Brazilian English teacher. The day that you told me that I speak English near native, I was so happy because I work so hard, and you know how much I love the English language. And I think everybody can learn a language the way they want. And this is really amazing what these people are doing, trying to do their best and throw themselves into the world. I don't think if you agree with my point of view, because when you learn a language, you discover not only new words, you discover a new culture, you know? So this is amazing.
A cultura é muito bonita.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And one last question. What do you think is beautiful from the Brazilian culture?
It's like really complicated.
Carnaval? You can say carnaval if you want to. Or if you didn't like carnaval, I don't know.
Carnival in Rio is pretty. Not in Palmita.
Carnaval in Rio is very crowded, and you know it's very. We have to be really careful. Well, guys, eu gostaria de agradecer muito essa amiga querida. Gostaria que vocês se inscrevessem no meu Instagram profissional, que é o ROD VIP IDP ou VIP IDP, tá? Que lá tem todas as informações. Essa entrevista com a Cori vai ser postada no YouTube em alguns dias, porque agora eu vou ter que colocá-la no YouTube, depois traduzir, né, para português, para todo mundo pegar as partes que foram faladas em inglês. Mas foi uma entrevista inspiradora. Eu quero dizer que a Cori fez intercâmbio pelo AFS Brasil, uma organização que eu faço parte e tenho grande prazer de fazer parte dessa organização. E o que fica disso tudo é que eu ganhei não só uma grande amiga, e ela não ganhou só dois grandes amigos, que somos eu e Thalita. Nós ganhamos porque Matt, o marido dela, também é um amigo nosso também. Então, como eu gosto de brincar com você, Cori, my home is your home. You can come here whenever you want. You are a lovely person, and I am so proud to be your friend. Thank you very much for your interview, for your time. And I hope you guys have liked everybody who's here. Ibrahim, I'm sorry for not accepting you this time, but surely you'll be here next week. Next week, we're going to have an interview with a student of mine. It was really great. Eu queria dizer que essa live foi patrocinada pelo RR Fotografias, que é o meu editor. Os contatos dele estão na descrição do YouTube e depois eu passo para vocês. Mas se inscrevam no meu canal do YouTube, que vai ter muitos vídeos ali, muitas novidades em breve. E nossos moderadores, o meu mascote, o meu filho mais velho, colocou aí os dados e os endereços. Oi, Natália, tudo bem? Você chegou no finalzinho. A gente fez uma entrevista com a Cori, minha amiga. Natália também foi minha aluna, uma grande amiga, tá? Então é maravilhoso essa experiência nova. Então me sigam lá no YouTube, que vai ter muito conteúdo novo. Cori, muitíssimo obrigado por tudo sempre. Mi casa e su casa, como se diz em inglês. E a gente se fala. Muito obrigado. De verdade. Tá bom? Tchau, pessoal. Muito obrigado. Natália, um beijão para você. Entra na próxima, todo sábado à tarde, entre 3 e 3h30, a gente vai estar fazendo essas lives. Quando não fizer, eu aviso. e os meus contatos profissionais estão lá no YouTube, e qualquer coisa é só mandar para o meu e-mail pessoal, que é o mesmo desse que meu filho passou na descrição aí para vocês. É só botar o Gmail. É o rodvipidp ou vipidp@gmail.com, que eu dou mais informações de cursos, turmas, palestras e tudo mais. Tá bom? Obrigado pelo apoio, obrigado por terem assistido. Cori, como sempre, você é da família. E obrigado por ter atestado o meu inglês de uma forma tão carinhosa, tão, assim, eu fico realmente comovido. Muito obrigado mesmo. Um abraço. Obrigado, gente. Até a próxima.